What if I told you that Lewis Hamilton revealed a weakness in Ferrari's foundation just hours before the most famous race in Formula One? Hamilton broke his silence at an unexpected moment, and what he disclosed might alter Ferrari's season-long course. We're delving into the conflagration that has enveloped Ferrari and Lewis Hamilton today following a contentious Monaco qualifying session that resulted in a penalty, a backlash, and a public statement that has the entire paddock talking. This narrative is only the beginning, so if you haven't subscribed yet, now is the perfect moment. It took place during Monaco's first quarter, a moment where legacies can be defined in milliseconds. Max Verstappen was barreling into Messinette on a flying lap, totally committed, when Lewis Hamilton abruptly slid back onto the starting line in front of him. No collision, no contact. However, the moment was sufficient. After Verstappen's lap was damaged, the stewards started looking into it right away. However, things got out of hand when they discovered what they did. After examining the radio transcripts, it became evident. Contradictory information was given to Hamilton. Initially, he was informed that Max is pushing. Hamilton retreated and approached. The update that followed said, Max has slowed." Hamilton returned to the starting line as Verstappen was flying down, having faith in his engineer. All that was required for the FIA to take action was for Max to abort the lap due to the incident. However, the punishment that followed wasn't your typical one. It was a devastating blow to Ferrari's weekend and a rare instance of Hamilton publicly reprimanding him. Stay tuned, as his next statement may be the most incisive of his Ferrari career. The inquiry was exhaustive. Telemetry traces, GPS overlays, onboard video, and above all team radio. The decision? Verstappen had in fact been hampered by Hamilton. Furthermore, the stewards remained unconvinced despite Ferrari's admission that he had given him the incorrect call. They asserted that poor communication is not a good reason. A devastating three-place grid drop was the outcome. At Monaco, of all places, Hamilton, who had qualified in an excellent P4, was dropped to P7. A track where it is almost hard to pass. Take a moment to process that. Lewis lost a chance at the podium as well as a solid starting position due to a single team error. Lap times, tire compounds, and new aerodynamic packages aren't the only things on our minds as we look to the upcoming championship round. It depends on the people, the procedure, and the confidence. Due to the fact that Formula One teams don't all fail at once, one mistake, internal disconnect, or unsuccessful radio call at a time causes them to deteriorate. Additionally, Ferrari is currently at a turning point. Frederic Vasseur has led them to great success. The culture is starting to change. The atmosphere has shifted. The vehicle has displayed moments of genius. Additionally, they have a local talent in Charles Leclerc who is demonstrating week after week that he is capable of competing with the best. However, that is insufficient. Not with Lewis Hamilton as a member of your team. Not after making the decade's largest signing. Not when the whole motorsport community is observing everything you do. Hamilton raises the bar because he doesn't only call for brilliance. Furthermore, it won't just be a wasted season if Ferrari is unable to rise to the occasion. It will be a missed chance. They might never receive another one. At Ferrari, we've witnessed what occurs when trust is lost. Even in his early seasons, we have witnessed it with Alonso and with Vettel. It begins modestly. A botched pit stop there, a missed call here. However, as the story progresses, the skepticism deepens, the annoyance mounts, and eventually the sport's brightest lights start to fade under the burden of what might have been. Ferrari cannot afford for that to occur once more. Not right now? Not with Lewis. Success in Formula One depends on more than simply on-track speed. It's the choices that are made without a word. Ferrari has the resources, the equipment, and the speed to navigate the mayhem of the pit wall, the driver-engineer exchanges, and the strategic milliseconds that divide triumph from heartache. However, how quickly they can move isn't the true question. Will they be able to stop obstructing themselves at last? Please click the like button and subscribe for more in-depth analyses like this one if you find these insights to be helpful. We explore the narratives that are not revealed by the race outcomes. This is where things start to become very interesting, though. Following the steward's ruling, Hamilton did not simply walk away. He didn't use ambiguous diplomatic tones when he spoke. "I was completely offline and they told me Max was slowing," Hamilton replied calmly but definitively sharply. They later claimed that he wasn't. It was altered. "Max appeared out of nowhere as I accelerated. I'm not at fault. Just 4 words. I'm not at fault." There was more to that sentence than self-defense. The shot was a warning. He publicly criticized Ferrari's internal communication breakdown without mentioning specific persons. And, in doing so, he directly highlighted Riccardo Adami, his own race engineer. This was not a spontaneous response. This was done on purpose. Hamilton was communicating with everyone in the audience as well as with Ferrari. Ferrari cannot afford to make these errors if they hope to compete at the highest level. The timing couldn't be more crucial because Hamilton's thesis was brutally demonstrated by what transpired during the race. Hamilton began P7 rather than P4, and that's the difference between fighting for damage control and fighting for a podium at Monaco, as any Formula One fan is aware. Track position remained crucial despite the new two-stop regulation enforced by the FIA. Hamilton was only able to reclaim one position despite driving with surgical precision, controlling his tires, avoiding problems, and carrying out his race strategy. He completed P6. Given Ferrari's good long-run pace this weekend, he would have been behind Norris and Air with a real chance of undercutting one of them if he had started in fourth. It's not difficult to picture Hamilton winning P2. Rather, he departed with a team under fire and frustration. Enjoy this degree of racial analysis? To ensure you don't miss the more in-depth tales from the Formula One world, click the subscribe button. We don't stop at the podiums. The more significant query: what does this actually mean for Ferrari then? Because this wasn't a straightforward error. Neither driving mistake nor a misinterpretation of tire wear were cited as the cause of the incident. No, this was a far more serious matter. This was an issue with the system. Furthermore, the harm caused by a system failure extends beyond the timer. It shatters confidence, erodes foundations, and reverberates more loudly than any collision or dispute. And it becomes much more than a simple strategic error when that failure involves a 7-time world champion who chose Ferrari to change history rather than just for a payday or a farewell tour. There was no misunderstanding here. It was a visual misalignment. Never one to assign blame indiscriminately, Lewis Hamilton delivered the most scathing assessment of all with just one sentence: "When it comes to important information, we must have faith that those around us will provide it. Everything else also breaks down if that does." No yelling, no finger pointing, no irrational annoyance. It was neither deflection nor anger. It was terrible. The experience was disappointing. And that hits harder than any passionate radio tirade because there's something much more concerning hidden beneath that cool, collected tone. A fissure developing beneath the surface. An indication that the past hasn't been forgotten. Despite all the excitement, optimism, and talk of Ferrari's new era, the same old ghosts are still muttering in the walls of Merlot. It was merely concealing. And it's beginning to manifest. Once more now. Because we have witnessed Ferrari falter in the background before. They have possessed the vehicle, the skill, and even the leadership. However, they have consistently lacked unity of purpose, cohesiveness, and accuracy. The kind of cohesion that brings home titles. The stakes are higher than simply losing races. If they are unable to construct it and deliver it to Hamilton, who came expecting to conquer rather than merely compete, they run the risk of losing people's trust. They could lose him, the true message of Hamilton. To be clear, Lewis Hamilton did more than just drive in Monaco. Instead of using harsh language or press releases, he communicated via his professionalism, presence, and frustration. The message he sent on Sunday was intended for 3 distinct groups. The time for excuses is done, first to Ferrari. This project is not just getting started. This is not a team of amateurs learning the ropes. It's Ferrari. There is no more runway for learning from mistakes with more than a year to get ready for Hamilton's arrival with some of the best. minds in Formula One and a driver who has seen and done more than anyone could ever imagine. Now is the moment to act. The paddock comes in second. His purpose is not limited to racing. He has come to take the lead. Monaco gave us a different answer to all the queries about why Lewis would take this action and to all the commentators who claimed he was prioritizing legacy over performance. He didn't arrive to Ferrari with the intention of retiring in style. He arrived with the intention of changing the culture, making better demands, and holding his team members accountable in a manner that only he could. Thirdly, to the supporters, this is just the start. This isn't the tale of a dying icon attempting a last-ditch effort to win fame. There is still a long way to go, but this is a fresh chapter filled with fire and struggle. There is more to the competition at Ferrari than just the stopwatch, the moments that determine whether a team believes in itself or keeps disintegrating take place in the strategy room and garage. Comments are below. When you're finished, remember to click on the video that is currently playing on your screen. Additionally, remember to subscribe to my